Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another Beta News Roundup. So you might have thought, hey, we got the announcement, that's it, there's no more news. Well, you'd be wrong, because there's a lot more news. Some of the news was in the news announcement, and some of it was not in the news announcement. But I think it deserves going over nonetheless. So we're going to hit and touch on some little points here and there, and hopefully I will surprise you. So first off, let's start with the Nintendo Switch comment. We have the question, why is beta not playable on Nintendo Switch? We are working closely with our platform partners to ensure a successful launch of Diablo II Resurrected on all platforms. While open beta will not be available for the Nintendo Switch system, the Heritage of Ariat transmog for Diablo 3 is intended to be available as a pre-order incentive. And, you know, they go on to basically say that the Nintendo Switch is not getting the beta. Well, I want to put your fears to the side on this. The Nintendo Switch often requires a lot of micromanaging. It often requires a lot of individual touches of modifying the texture sizes, the resolution, the multi-resolution system, basically where it will scale the resolution up and down as needed. You know, things like memory bandwidth problems and all sorts of issues that the Nintendo Switch has that have to be fine-tuned to each individual program. So I have no doubt that we're still going to get the Nintendo Switch version, and the Nintendo Switch version will probably be out on the 23rd, but they're going to have to put a lot more effort to make it run flawlessly. Do I think it's going to run flawlessly? Yes, I do, because honestly, Diablo 3 ran flawlessly on the Nintendo Switch, and I don't really see why Diablo 2 wouldn't either. It's not really that much difference between the two games as far as system requirements. Next on the list is the beta progress. So I've gotten a lot of questions of, does the beta progress transfer to the main game? Does the beta progress transfer to ladder? Am I going to be able to keep my gear from the beta? Well, I've got two quotes on this and answers your question very, very succinctly. The first one comes from Pez Radar on the Reddit Diablo subreddit, and someone asked him, so can you confirm that progress in early access / beta will not carry over to the main game? It doesn't actually say in the post as far as I could tell. Pez Radar replied, can confirm final game will be a totally different build. So we're talking about no progress being transferred over. And then on top of that, I also have another image here, which is questioned, will my progress from the beta carry over to the next test? Answer, if you participate in the early access weekend, your progression from the test will carry over to the open beta, which kicks off on August 20th. So what they're saying there is that if you level up your character to like level 20 during the pre-order beta, you will then be able to carry over that character to the open beta. But you notice at the bottom there, it says, please note your progression from early access or open beta will not carry over to the live release. So I think that conclusively answers the question of, you know, does the progress from beta carry over to launch? And the answer to that question is no. Next on the list is a very, very interesting one. Very, very interesting in one indeed, and a lot of you are going to be kind of shocked by this one. I know I was when I first read it. And an extremely important question, will Seasons / Ladder start along with the game release at the 23rd of September? Would immensely grateful if you able to answer that, because a lot of people need to plan their vacations, which is quite useless if there's no ladder. Pez Radar replied, we will have some more information on Seasons / Ladder. I would expect it wouldn't be right at launch for the start of one and more, so around a different time that we specify after launch. So I know that the English there is a little rough, but basically what Pez Radar is saying in a nutshell is that ladder is not going to start with the launch of Diablo II Resurrected, which means that on the launch of the game on the 23rd, there will not be any ladder for us to play. So everybody's going to have to be either on softcore or hardcore non-ladder when the game launches, which is very interesting. I'm assuming that once we get the date for ladder, there will be, you know, a better answer. or they start to figure out when they want to actually plan out the first ladder season. I do remember them actually saying on the one of the question and answers, they were talking about that they were going to have the ladder seasons staggered from Diablo 2. So Diablo 2 is still going to be there. Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. And Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction is still going to have ladder seasons. And they specifically said that they didn't want the Diablo 2 ladder seasons to sync up with the Diablo 2 Resurrected ladder seasons. So that may be part of the issue, is that they want to offset them in such a way that they're going to make sure that the Diablo 2 Resurrected ladder seasons don't interfere with the Diablo 2 ladder season, you know, like launch day, so to speak. They don't want any of those launch days to be overlapping. Next on the list is another very, very interesting tidbit of information, and I've got quite a bit of information here for you. This is another question answered by PezRadar on the Reddit, and it is, he said, I wouldn't exactly be opposed to this. I'm more bothered about ladder-only rune words and runes, Uber Tristram, and Diablo. At the very least, add them to single player, but I like to see the ladder restrictions removed for rune words. Ladder rune words will be available in SP. SP means single player. Now that is a jaw dropper right there. So they are adding the ladder rune words that only work on ladder to the single player game, so that single player players can have fun with those too. So that's going to include rune words like Insight, which is the meditation polearm, Spirit, which is the really nice sword and shield that has the plus to skills and the faster cast. You know, things like that that are only available if you're playing online on ladder. And up until now, you know, people have made workarounds. So there is, you know, the Pluggy mod, which allows you to use those ladder rune words on single player games. But what they're saying is that the ladder rune words are going to be available to us in single player by default. And that's very interesting. And I'm also very curious, are there any other ladder only things that will be available in that? I will keep you guys posted because he was actually asked that question on this Reddit post, if you want to look it up, but he hasn't answered yet. So I'm going to keep that bookmarked. I'm going to watch and see if he replies to that. Next on the list, we have another minor issue. It's the loading screen issues. So we had a question and answer in the post. They said, why is my character still attacked while at the loading screen? And they answered, as mentioned in the Technical Alpha Learnings blog, characters will no longer spawn in a hostile place until the game is fully loaded, preventing characters from getting attacked or harmed during a loading screen. This fix is not in the build for the early access and open beta, but it will be in the game for launch. We didn't want to delay the timing of the upcoming tests for this issue. We got a double down on this by PezRadar, who answered, there was an issue in the technical alpha that loads after the TPs were pretty long, even loads into Axe. This won't be addressed in beta, but I can confirm that the team has been working on a fix for it, and it will be available for the retail launch game. It just didn't make implementation into the beta builds, so very interesting there. We also have another piece of information here about TCP support, which comes at as a very interesting piece of news, worthy of talking about here, and I'll explain why. Will TCP support be available in early access to open beta tests? TCP support will not be available in upcoming beta tests or the final game. After careful deliberation, we will no longer be supporting this option as we identified potential security risks and are committed to safeguarding the player experience. And keep in mind there, they didn't just say that it wouldn't be available in beta. They said it wouldn't be available in the final game. Ooh. And what they mean by identified potential security risks is basically that, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a cracked version of the alpha game. Okay, and the cracked version of the alpha game actually utilized the TCP connection to create the security problem, the crack, in other words. And so basically, you can thank the hackers who hacked the alpha version of the game for this, because basically what this is this is a direct response to the hackers creating this workaround, this glitch, through using the TCP connection. And and they don't want any part of it. Will it maybe come back? I really don't know. Maybe there'll be some way that someone can mod the game and put it back in, because I doubt that it's like really removed. It's probably only partially removed. Like the surface is probably gone, and the code is probably still there. So maybe in the future someone will figure out a way to edit the game, throw a mod in to add the TCP support back in. But as for now, it's not going to be in the final game. So that's an interesting one. And lastly, the last bit of news that I have for this beta roundup, which hopefully we'll have some more of these, is the physical edition. Question: will there be a physical edition of Diablo II Resurrected? And the answer was Diablo II Resurrected is a digital-only product. That sucks. I was really hoping on maybe like a Diablo II Resurrected Deluxe Edition, or maybe like a collector's edition with like a cool, like, you know, collectible object or something, or like a freaking Diablo coin, or I don't know, something. I was really hoping on a physical product, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are going to be disappointed by this. The lack of a physical edition is definitely something that a lot of people will be sad about. I mean, I still have my Diablo II Lord of Destruction and Diablo 2 boxes hiding away in my closet. So, you know, it's a little bit of a sadness there. I hope maybe they change their mind and they come out with a physical edition at some point. Maybe when the game is a wild success, maybe they'll change their mind and we'll have a physical edition. But as for right now, it's digital only, which is kind of crappy. We got a lot of information so far, and as you can see down there at the bottom, early access beta is the 13th to the 16th. Open beta is August 20th to the 22nd, and launch day is September 23rd. There's also a little bit of information that's left out of this graphic, by the way. They kind of basically said that the beta would end on the 17th, like in the morning-ish time. And same thing with the open beta, like it kind of ends on the 23rd, like in the morning. Like, it's not the full day, and that's why they didn't put it on there. So it's not the 13th to the 17th, but it's like, say you played all night on the 16th till the morning. You know, you would still be able to play, like, all the way up until, like, I think it's like 10 a.m. in the morning or something like that. So, you know, pretty cool there. A lot of this information is a little shocking. I'm actually kind of surprised at this piece about the ladder rune words being available in single player. I think that one is a very interesting change, and I think it will be a welcome one. I'm also interested to find out if Pez Radar replies to this and says anything about, you know, is Uber Diablo going to be in there? Is Pandemonium Diablo and Uber Tristram going to be in there? You know, are they going to allow us to farm keys in single player and stuff like that? Is that going to be a thing? I mean, as long as it's just single player, I don't have any problem with it. The only thing that I think I would have a problem with is them adding all that to softcore, non-ladder. So if you take all the ladder benefits and you throw them into the regular game, I'm not really sure that's gonna, you know, be such a great thing. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.